Hello, ladles and jelly spoons. Welcome to the bottle. Today, oh, hang on a second. My mic's not. My camera even is not working. Let's find out what's going on there. Fix that before we do anything else, so you can all see my beautiful face. Oh, that's not a good picture. And that's gone all wonky. What's going on there? There we are. Much better. Right. So today we're doing a bit of assembly. It's not something we normally do on stream, but these I want to get done, and I also want to have a bit of a rant about them. So this is what we're assembling today. The Corvus cabal, a Warcry warband, I think they're called. I don't know much about the game other than it's a skirmish game, but the models definitely caught my eye. And they caught my eye just because they are some of the most detailed models I've seen in a long time. Let's see if I can increase the light levels here a little bit. That's a touch better. Now, what we've got here is one I've already built. So this is, what's it called? That's not the. So this is the leader. He's called a Shrike Talon, and then that guy is kind of a sorcerer, as far as I understand, Shadow Piercer. That's what he's called. These two I did yesterday, and they are absolutely gorgeous models. They have got some real nice detail on them. Some of the best detail I've seen on on any kit in a long time. However, that is also their downfall, because some of these pieces, for example, that is paper thin. The fingers also here, so tiny. And this one, the joint, see if I can get a better angle of that. The joint there between the hand and the bird was so tiny that when I was clipping it off, just the force of the clippers, not even touching the bit, but touching the part of the sprue that it was connected to, caused it to buckle. It almost snapped. And these aren't like junky clippers I'm using. These are a pretty decent pair. They go through like butter, but they're just so fragile, and I think they've gone too far in the way of creating detail, because it becomes, at some point, there's like a trade-off between durability and the resolution of the detail on the model. And I think at this point they've gone too far, because these things are not going to hold up if you play regular games with them. They're going to get broken very easily. If you drop this on the floor, you're going to lose fingers, you're going to lose legs, all sorts of bits are just going to snap off, and that is no good, because these are, at the end of the day, wargaming figures. They're going to be put on a table, they're going to be moved around, picked up, handled, and they're just not durable enough to do that. The materials that you're using are not good enough. Now, if they came up with some sort of new more durable plastic, then you could get away with it, but the current grey plastic that Games Workshop use is not strong enough for this. It's just too flimsy. When you get down to, we're talking sub 10th of a millimeter in some cases, which is fantastic. You know, I do resin 3D printing, and to get down to that level is amazing, but it's just not strong enough. But anyway, that's enough of my ranting for now. Let's crack on and actually build some of these. So the next one looks like some sort of assassin. So as I said, we've got the leader here. I'm just going to see if I can rotate my camera, because it's at 45 degrees to my body at the moment. It's confusing the hell out of me. That's a bit better. There we go. Right. So now, there we go. So we've got these two. And the next one we'll be building is the Spire Stalker, which is this guy. So I think this one has options. You can either build it with a spear or 2 hand weapons. Oh, sorry, no, that's there's 2 hand blades, or the hand blade and some kind of claw, or maybe that's 2 models. No, that's 2 models of the same type. I'll shut my mouth. Right, so this is another problem. So any other kit, I'd be able to go, that's the body, that's arms, that's legs, that's a head, let's put it all together. Because of this computer-aided design that they are using, the pieces don't mesh. You have to follow the instructions. It's an absolute nightmare. And it also makes converting really, really difficult, because you don't just say, oh, let's do a head swap, let's do an arm swap, because they're connected. You'll have a head and part of a shoulder and an arm that are all part of one piece, and then a body that is specifically designed with angles to fit that piece. So you can't just swap bits over, which is, for someone who's a little bit more old school like me and likes to do converting, it's not good. Ah, hello wife. I didn't leave you blocks. Nobody's watching at the moment, so I'll hop onto Minecraft and leave you blocks. I was going to dump them in the chest, but it wasn't possible. Alright, I'll come and do that for you now. And then if anybody comes to tell me off, say, hey, I'm watching your stream and you're playing Minecraft. It's lucky I don't do this for a living, isn't it? Can you imagine if I had like 500 people watching me and suddenly I went, oh, hang on a minute, I just need to go and give my wife some Minecraft blocks. There you go, there's no more space in the chest. Right, anyway, what was I doing? So yeah, I need to find the exact parts for these. There we go. Let's get that off. Kind of sad when you're streaming and the only person watching is your wife, and she's only doing that so she can badger you about Minecraft. Never mind. It's been a while, I took a break. I don't expect everybody to stick around and wait for me to come back. So we have a body, what else? Number 19. Again, these are really nice kits. I absolutely love the end product. It's just how you get there as a ball ache. 19. It's going to need some cleanup. Do I have my scalpels? I do not. I'll have to go and get those in a second. Alright, number 20. Again, this is another thing, is they're all numbered, but they're numbered by the model that they go with. So I'm looking for parts 19, 20, 18, 19 and 20, but they're on entirely different sprues. They could be dotted around anywhere because they've allowed a computer to go, well, this is the most efficient use of space so that we can use the least amount of plastic. But it means that one piece could be down in one corner, one piece could be on the other corner, one piece could be on an entirely different sprue. I have literally no idea. So right now, number 20. Number 20. The instructions aren't particularly helpful either, because they just kind of go, well, this bit goes on this bit, but you have to get them so precisely aligned, and you just have to do it by feel, because you can't really see, the angles are so obscure and strange that you can't really do it by eye. You just kind of move it around until it sort of clicks into place. Where the hell is this piece? 27, 37, 20 is that one, okay. Oh, this is really hard to get a sight of. There we go, let's just hope I'm not actually clipping off something that's supposed to be part of the model. That's the other thing. Sometimes it's really difficult to tell what's sprue and what's actually models. Yeah, this one's difficult to do on camera, bear with me. I'm getting a bit warm, bear with me while I take my clothes off. Ow. That was really graceful there. Somehow managed to get my jumper caught on my glasses. This one I start product shilling, although I don't get any money for it. This stuff is the best glue that best plastic glue I've ever used. This jar has lasted me literally years. I know Humbrol are generally frowned upon by our community, but there's a reason that they're one of the biggest names in the sort of airfix type community. Right, see, this is what I'm talking about. There is no logic to this at all. I just need to kind of figure out, okay, that's the shoulder, So that, does that go in that way? I honestly can't tell. So like this is head and neck and part of something else. I really can't tell how this is supposed to go together. I think that goes in, because that's obviously chest. I guess he's supposed to be looking that way. Yeah, so it says go in and down. But down to where? See? There. Now I didn't figure that out. That happened completely by accidental feel. And I probably couldn't do that again. So it kind of went in there somewhere. Yeah, right. So I've done that entirely by feel. There's no logic to it. There's nothing that says this bit goes into this bit. And it's all because they've done this weird sort of computer generated. It's not designed for a human to put together, it's designed for a machine. I think it's a poor choice for a hobby that's so hands-on. It's supposed to be creative, and they've locked down your options entirely. It's becoming Airfix. In fact, it's becoming worse than Airfix, because Airfix, at least you can adjust positions of things and stuff. It doesn't just go in and stay there. This is literally millimeter precise. It has to go in exactly as designed. Oh, I see. So the body, I don't know if you can see there, that piece is actually the face. So the head and the face are two separate pieces, because that makes complete logical sense to any, anyone with a brain says, oh yeah, I'll take my face off. It's just bizarre. No, I'm gonna have to do this up close, because it just makes no goddamn sense. God, that's horrible. There's a massive gap now. No, I don't like this at all. Let's see if we can scrape off some of the glue and try again. Yeah, that's absolutely awful. And you can't put any force on it because the face is held on by a tiny bit of plastic, so you have to kind of be really cautious about holding them together so that the glue can mend or meld. It's just terrible. And it's such a shame, because obviously a lot of thought and care has gone into making them look good, and then they've just made the assembly an absolute nightmare. And like this, for example, I now have to put the back on under that ponytail. At least I think that's how that's supposed to go. It's horrendous. whoever thought that this was a good idea was clearly some sort of accountant, because this makes no sense for an actual hobbyist. Either an accountant or someone who works in marketing or something like that. I should not have to fight pieces that the instructions have already informed me I was supposed to apply in order to get the other pieces on. I have to literally bend this ponytail out of the way to get this in. So I'm probably going to have to do a lot of this assembly off camera, which is a bit crap considering it's supposed to be an assembly stream, but it's the only way that it makes logical sense to do it. Is to like hold it up to my face so I can see. See, the parts are interfering with each other. I'm going to end up ripping off his head. In fact, I think I just have. Yeah, I've separated the head because the body was in the way. So I'm going to have to reattach that head somehow now. This is infuriating. This is supposed to be a relaxing and fun hobby, not something that makes me want to throw things out the window. Let's see if I can get this to stick, and then I'll go back in and fix that head. I'm hoping that I've just loosened the glue and I haven't snapped his neck or something, because once again, if you put any sort of force on these things, they break like twigs. Right, is that done? Yes. Yeah, you can see there in that chest section, that gap is where he's got a random piece of chest that's not attached. So I'm going to have to chuck some glue in that gap and then try and force it into place. Problem is the glue you're using is a solvent, so the more you put on, the more damage you do to the figure, the more detail you lose. You only really want a thin amount, so if you screw it up, you're damaging what is essentially an expensive model. Let's hope that stayed in place. Right, I think that's that done. See that? Ah, now his back's come off again. And this is the problem I've been having all over. First of all, you figure out how it has to go together, then you put the glue on, then you have to re-figure out how it goes together because it just doesn't make any logical sense. And you're essentially doing it by practice because it's not a case of this bit obviously joins onto this bit. It's like building the worst IKEA furniture in the universe. Alright, I think I'm going to put him down, because even if he's not glued, he's making me angry. So, let's move on to the next one. It's such a shame because they are such a nice kit. They really are. I'm not over-exaggerating when I say that these are probably some of the nicest sculpts I've seen in a long time, but it's just like pulling teeth putting them together. It really is. I can see this is going to be a 3-hour stream of me ranting about Games Workshop and their marketing practices. I'm going to grab a drink because I'm getting a sore throat from all this complaining. Apologies if that made a massive loud sound in your headphones or whatever. Hello, how are you doing? Where do I put this? I'll leave this off stream. So, these are a warband for a skirmish game that Games Workshop made called Warcry. So this is what they should look like when complete. They are called the Corvus cabal. Obviously, if you know your Latin nomenclatures, Corvus is from Corvidae, the family of crows. And yeah, it's I haven't actually played it, but it's, from what I can understand, it's a very, very pared down sort of 4 or 5 model skirmish game. The rules are very, very basic and straightforward. So it's the kind of thing you just chuck down with some friends, and almost like board game territory. It's like you want something to do for half an hour to an hour. You play Warcry instead of getting out your 2,000 point Warhammer army and setting up terrain and stuff. Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been ill. I took the second half of last week off because I was on Thursday. It took all of my energy just to call in sick to work. Like, I woke up, called in, and when I say call in, we do it by text, so I typed a message in Teams, and I had to write it 6 times because I couldn't spell it correctly. And when I finally did, it made me so mentally exhausted that I fell asleep again. So yeah, that's how my week went, but I've got better. I feel a bit better. Brain fart. I felt a bit better yesterday, and I feel almost 100% today. Hey Fluff, how you doing? So yeah, this has been a bit of a rant stream. I've literally been complaining for 35 minutes. Yeah, doing good. So today, aside from this, I have started work on the Guardian farm in the Minecraft world. I'm not disgruntled in general. This is, first world problems. It's my toys don't fit together properly at the end of the day. That's what it boils down to. Well, let's give them another chance and see if this next one works. So, where are my pieces? I need... Are they on that one? 21, 22, 23 and 24. Oh, these are actually all in one place, so at least that's something. So we're going to go for... Is it that one? Yeah, 23. I'm just going to see if I can adjust the lighting slightly. Where's that gone? I got a new toy for Christmas, some sort of photography kit for diffusing lights and such, and I got it out ready to use, and now I don't know where I've put it. So that's fun. I literally just had it and it's gone. Oh, I don't know. I surrender. No, it's well and truly gone. Never mind. Right, where was I? 23. Well, yeah, ranting is what makes YouTube, isn't it? If ranting didn't exist, YouTube's viewership would plummet. Although I try and avoid that kind of stuff nowadays. That was quite an unpleasant plummet when all of the YouTubers I used to watch for various different things all decided to jump on the "we hate SJWs" train. Right, 21 is that one. And then 22 is that one. So whatever algorithm they're using to lay out these sprues, it does seem to take proximity of numbers into account, but that seems to be lower on the list than just squeezing it on as efficiently as possible. So this is the first out of 4 models that I've actually found all the pieces next to each other. So how does this work? We've got that bit goes that way, that goes on to see this again, this is not something that makes any sense whatsoever. You literally just have to follow it by rote to understand it. It's not like, oh, this is a shoulder, so that must go on top of an arm. It's like these are just, without me telling you, could you tell me what body part that is? Does that make any sense to you whatsoever? And the only reason I know what this is because there's an arm with a weapon attached to it. Otherwise that would just be, again, a piece. Oh, nice. I've been watching one recently about a guy who bought an old mining town in the mountains. I think it's outside Colorado somewhere, up in the Rockies maybe, but like nobody's lived there since the 1800s. It's really, really enjoyable. And he's been like digging out the old mines and going down there. It's like he could actually die. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's a YouTube series. Yeah, I mean, fair play to him. He lives up there with like none of the necessities that we do. And the fact that he's running a YouTube series on what is essentially the worst internet connection in the universe is really sketchy satellite data, so he has to do everything and then wait for an hour of decent signal to upload. It must be infuriating. I mean, they've barely got running water, for crying out loud. They literally had to do an episode on how they got running water out of a spring because they had nothing up there. I know that's obviously not the worst of it, but I was just speaking in relative terms to what he's doing for a living right now. Um, I, it was absolutely gutting. I've been watching it since day one, and they spent ages refurbishing the old hotel so that people could start staying up there, and then it burnt down, and you could hear in his voice like he was trying to do a video, but he was broken. And to be honest, I don't blame him. They put in a boiler, I think, or something like that. Boiler or furnace or some kind of. I say put in, they replaced what was already there. And there was a dodgy valve or something. Or it might have been the electric. No, it was the electrics. They put in electric lights, which is not period specific, but period appropriate electric lights. And some of the wiring was dodgy, and with the buildings all being made of wood, it didn't take long. You know, as soon as something sparked, the whole thing went up. It was absolutely galling to watch. I couldn't imagine how he felt at all. Right, I'm still trying to figure out how the hell this is supposed to go together. So the picture says like that, and then this goes on top, I think. Hold on a second, I'm just going to take this and see if I can figure it out. Nope, no idea. This is ridiculous. So if that's that way, and then this, is this even the right piece? Really can't figure that out. Yes, I know my posture's terrible, but I'm trying to look down at this thing and figure out what's going on. Yeah, he did. He spent he bought it for like 1.2 million. It was, you know, that's a lot of money, but that's a decent 4-bedroom house in America. So he bought a whole town for it, which is nice, but it's in the middle of nowhere. This is actually stumping me. I really have no idea how the hell this is supposed to go together. That says a lot, because I've been building these things for years, and if I can't figure it out, somebody who's never done this before would have literally no chance. Maybe if I put this together, so I think this is the actual body, so that makes sense, and then the arms will go on somehow like that, which means that bit must be there. So that's the body and arm, that makes sense, but I still can't figure out how the hell this thing is supposed to work. The only thing I can think is that maybe I've screwed it up somehow and got the wrong piece. Because those two make sense together. Let's go back and check. 21, 22, 23. No, they're definitely the right pieces. Oh yeah, they've gone hard on the making the Skaven icky recently. Ever since they rebranded to Age of Sigmar instead of Warhammer, they've really doubled down on the Skaven are gross thing. Nasty little rat things. I've always loved the Skaven as a concept. Like, generally, when people think, for example in D&D, if you think of an sentient animal race, you think like tabaxi and that sort of friendly, furry kin type thing. And Games Workshop went, nah, let's pick rats. Rats are nasty. By slicing his throat. That sounds familiar, but I can't think what it is. Shadow of Mordor, maybe? Sander, you know Shadow of Mordor, does that sound about right? Not Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of Mordheim, even. Mordor's the wrong franchise. Let's Google and see what Google says. Or maybe am I mixing up with another game? I'm sure it was Shadow of something. Shadow of the Rat King? Shadow of the Horned Rat, that was the one. Yes. Vermintide's far too new for that. From the middle of the 90s, yeah, that would be Shadow of the Horned Rat. That's the one I was looking for, thanks Xander. My brain was mixing up Shadow of the Horned Rat with Shadow of Mordor, which is a Lord of the Rings video game. Yeah, I played loads of that. And yes, that's definitely a Night Runner thing to do. Night Runners are the assassins. They'll sneak through the sewers, wait till somebody passes over a manhole and jump out and slice your throat. Alright, let's get back to the conundrum. So, we have so we've got both arms, so nothing there is an arm. I guess it's got something to do with clothing, because there's a big gap in the clothes on that side. So maybe it goes in there to fill that gap. again, this is going back to what I was saying earlier. I don't think people were here. A lot of this I'm having to do by feel. Because it doesn't make any sense, but once you get it in the right place, it just kind of clicks in. Right, so there's a piece on there that looks like a shoulder pad. So let's see if I can figure it out from that. Oh, okay. So it's a shoulder pad for that side. Maybe it goes on the back. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he's got it. I think that goes on there. I want to make sure that this is perfect. Yeah, I missed out on Vermintide because I bought it and then they brought out Vermintide 2 and the servers died. Like, it was impossible to find a game with anyone, so I kind of got a bit annoyed and rage quit at that point. Yes, that's it. Got it. Although I don't know, because it's still sliding around. And normally they kind of lock into place. Alright, so he's... yeah, it's got to be that. Okay. Let's pop some glue on there. And hold this in place. That's not connecting for some reason. This is another thing I'm finding, the joints, even when they are perfectly aligned, the joints just don't want to bond. It's never a thing that I've had a problem with before. Another game similar called Dark Tide. Yeah, but the thing is, I'll buy that because I never buy things when they're new. So I'll buy that just as the servers die and then have no one to play with again. Sod's law. Is it going to be Tyranids then? Oh no, they're doing zombies. That's interesting. Is that Nurgle? Yeah, those look Nurgly. So it's going to be no cultists then. Nice. Because I bought Vermintide 1, and then Vermintide 2 came out a couple of weeks later, so everybody moved to that. I think I got it on a Humble Bundle possibly, or something like that. Yeah, the thing is, it's not just 70 quid though, is it? You guarantee they'll throw microtransactions and all that kind of shit into it as well. Oh, that bit just does not want to stick. It just keeps falling off. Right, let's put this body on, because I know that's got a solid connection. See, again, I'm in a position where I'm trying to stick these together, and I did it just now, and now they won't go back together again, because you have to get it in exactly the right position.
Is that the thing you were looking for? Small problem.
Bear with me a second, I need to talk to my wife and find out what she's destroyed. Apologies for that. What were we talking about? Game prices, yeah. Thing is, I wouldn't mind if they were releasing fully complete, polished, non-buggy games without microtransactions. I'd pay 70 quid. Because in terms of hours invested, I compare it to going to the cinema. Like a cinema ticket for 2 hours is what, tenner, maybe 15 quid if you've got snacks and stuff, but you're putting in 30, 40, sometimes even up to 100 hours into games. So entertainment wise, price per hour isn't bad. I still feel like 70 is maybe a bit high, but I'd be okay with it. But it's not. They're releasing buggy, unfinished, beta, even alpha level quality, then throwing in microtransactions. And a lot of companies, especially the bigger publishers, they're doing the microtransactions and putting a game on top. Yeah, that's the thing. They're not releasing games that are worth putting that amount of time into. Stupidest thing is, the games that I've put the most time into are probably the ones that I've spent the least amount of money on. Things like Skylines. That was £14, I think, to buy, and I've put loads of time into that. Minecraft, 20 quid, and I've put hours and hours into it. And then you've got the likes of Cyberpunk, which, yes, I bought new, because I've been looking forward to it for ages, and because I've got a background in it, because I've played the RPG loads, and I thought maybe it wasn't going to be an absolute clusterfuck. And to be fair, on PC it's not as bad as everyone else is experiencing, and that's because they tried to backport it onto old consoles, and I think they bit off more than they could chew. But it's just endemic of the industry. It's the same shit. Sorry, this is the worst stream ever. I'm doing everything off camera because it's just impossible to do it otherwise. Yeah, see, this was a mistake because now I've done it the wrong way, in the wrong order, and suddenly I can't put stuff back together. No, I don't think a book does take longer to write than a movie does to make. And it definitely doesn't take longer than a game should take. A good game should take significantly longer than a movie. And then you're talking about values for the amount of people involved as well, because an author is, one person. And it's not about what it should cost. I mean, I'm fully fucking anti-capitalist, so that we'll not get onto the topic of cost. But it's not what it should cost, it's what I feel is a fair cost for the amount of entertainment I get out of it. I think 70 is, like I say, too much. But somewhere in that region, I don't think is too bad. But now we're in a position where you've got businesses that are putting in a marketing model and then building entertainment on top of it. They're not doing entertainment for the sake of entertainment. Avengers is a perfect example of that. It's a fucking microtransaction store with a game plastered on top of it. And it's a game that could have been good if it was given any time, but it just wasn't. And then it was made worse in order to force people to get into the stores, to force people to buy the... Because you get these people that go, oh, well, it's fine, you don't have to buy these things to progress. But they intentionally make the game more grindy and more tiresome and more boring if you don't buy these things. It's not like they've made a game and then gone, oh, let's give people some boosts. It's they've made XP boosts and then increase the XP levels to make people buy them. That's how this stuff works. It's the way things are now. Because people like me and you, who probably remember before that stuff existed, are dying out. We are the minority now, and the kids have never seen anything else. Yeah, absolutely. They'll make out that grinding is a big... What was it when everyone complained about Battlefront? EA said we wanted to give our players a sense of pride and accomplishment. So grinding is now called pride and accomplishment. Oh, the other thing that fucks me off, I don't know if... I haven't played Red Dead, so I've no experience with that, but is when they put out a game, they let people review it, and then a week later they shove in a microtransaction store, which they blatantly had in the wings before it was released, but they didn't want people to know about it until they'd already bought the game. I think that's what they did with Diablo, possibly, or one of those games. And it's becoming more common now. It's how they get away with putting fraudulent what's the ratings? There's a thing now, I forget what the acronym is, but it's EE something, and you have to say when your game contains violence or whatever, and you have to specifically put on the boxes if it contains paid transactions. But if those boxes are printed and then the paid transactions are put in with a patch later on, it's not illegal. That's not fraud somehow. Tell me how the fuck that's not fraud. Yeah, ESRB, that's the one. Yeah, exactly. They'll put in the absolute worst of the worst and then make it slightly better, but you know that's what they intended in the beginning. They just wanted to polish the turd, and they get away with it over and over and over again. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to tear this apart and put it back together again. Joyous. Oh shit, and it's bonded. This is not gonna go well. Let's see if I can. Oh, this is an absolute clusterfuck. If you consider a buggy game an affront to human decency, then you must be seeing an awful lot of affronts to human decency. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah out there. Do you know what? This guy can fuck off. I'm going to start a different one. There are very few games that are truly free to play though. There are free to play and get fucked in the ass and be miserable while everybody else is playing. Oh yeah, fucking what are they called? Legacy? Is it the Legacy games? Risk Legacy and Pandemic Legacy, where you have to fuck up your board to finish the game and then you have to buy a new one. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, what kind of board game can you only ever play once? That's absolutely insane. Jesus. Yeah, no thanks. The whole point of a board game is that you can play it numerous times. Oh, my current DM was obsessed with Treadfang, and then he bought it, and the rules were just so crunchy and horrible. Yeah, see, that's the way it should be. It should be something where you go, okay, this is completely out of play for this game. This whole area is nuked or whatever, so you can't move to it, or something like that. Something that permanently affects the game. Sorry, a little bit. Ow. Yeah, the lore and the fluff is really good, but the crunch is just horrendous. That's why we ended up playing the D&D 5e Ragnarok, because it was close-ish to Treadfang, but it was with a sensible system. Let's build some more of these things. See, this one seems to be a bit more sensible. It's got a body, it's got a back piece, and then it's got 2 arms. That's the way they should be. What system did you use in the end? Homebrew. Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever met anyone who's written a homebrew system that was any good. I know plenty of people who have tried, but there's a reason they're not professional game designers. D10, 10s explode, add your skill. So it's basically Savage Worlds then. No, I do not want realism in my simulation game. That's why it's a simulation game. You have a negative die as well. Why? See this is right. This is how these things should be. This is what I've been ranting about all this time. We have a body, we have a head, we have two arms, and they just go in the places you'd expect them to. Why can't the rest of the model be like this? Oh, I see, okay. There are several zombies in my pool. Okay, let them have a nice swim. I have no idea what route is. I'm gonna have a look. In fact, can one of you drop me a link so I don't have to go Googling? And just as I was praising it, we found another problem. This hand has to fit in a very specific angle, otherwise it doesn't stay. So you can't just put the sword in however you like to pose it. It has to be at that specific angle, otherwise it doesn't fit in the hole. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about. This is why this is stupid. Let's have a look. Meeples. What the hell is a meeple? Okay, that looks cool. Not a massive fan of the art style, if I'm honest, but looks like the sort of thing I'd like to play. Yeah, that makes sense. So like most sort of RTSs where your army that you pick has a special set of abilities that nobody else can do. Does the board game not look like that then? Oh, okay, so it's like the entire game is different. I've never played Netrunner. Cool. When I have some time, I shall go investigate. Again, infuriating. This arm has to be in precisely the right position or it just won't make contact. Yeah, it would never get played in this house. If you have to learn new rules, but everyone just goes, no, I don't want to, let's play Cards Against Humanity again, and then I jump out a window. I have about 5 or 6 boxes of board games that have just never been played because I've got no one to play with. I got yeah, absolutely. When we're allowed to do things again, I'm going to be visiting a whole bunch of people. I got a D&D based game. I can't think what it's called. I'm just going to go get a box. You all probably just got a lovely shot of my arse then. You're welcome. Yeah, I got this for Christmas, and it's very, very simplistic, but it's really enjoyable. It's the sort of thing you just get out for a quick blast for 20 minutes. And yeah, even Ethan understood it, so it's suitable for kids as well. But it's the sort of thing, it's kid friendly, but it's still really fun to play. It's still tactical. Yeah, Dungeon Mayhem. That's one of the expansions. Yes, it's a card game. That's one of the expansions where you play as monsters. I think the base game you play is like humans and elves and whatever. And then there's another expansion for, what is it? Oh, it's not listed on there, but there are 3 expansions, but in that box you can put all of the cards from the other expansions, so it gives you a storage solution. So if you buy the other expansions, you don't have to have 3 boxes lying around, you can combine them all into one. which is quite nice, I think. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, I really want to play the Labyrinth game. I watched it on Geek and Sundry, I think, possibly, and it looked really enjoyable. Plus those minis are amazing. Monster Slaughter. What's Monster Slaughter? Next one. 36, 37, 38. Where did I put my clippers? On the table. Cabin in the Woods be playing the monsters. That sounds amazing. There seems to be a thing of that going around with games where it's such and such game but you're the bad guy, or such and such game but you're the monsters. Ah, it's over here. That's 37. Right, let me move these guys out of the way because they're just taking up space now. I'm going to lift this up a little bit so I've got more space to work. That's a bit better. Seven. Xander is 4 goblins in the trench coat. Thyme and rosemary. Nice. There's no such thing as a middle class. The middle class was just designed by rich people to make poor people think they weren't poor anymore. Yeah, you should always put rosemary on your potatoes, regardless of what kind of potatoes they are. Even chips. No, I will shatter your dreams at every opportunity. It's what I do. Whether you like it or not, we are all members of the proletariat. Yeah, I always douse my roasties in rosemary. Rosemary and goose fat. You don't want to know what I do with the goose. There's nothing wrong with a bit of gravy. Although drowning them kind of takes away from the taste a little bit. If you've got good roasties, you don't want to lose the flavour. The gravy is an additional. Gravy hater. We can no longer be friends. Gravy is amazing. But yeah, I agree, you don't want like a bowl of gravy and then just dunk your potatoes in it. You want to just... it's an accompaniment. It's not the meal. I'm kind of in two minds here. Both of you are slightly right. But there are some people that are just like, they'll take an entire jug of gravy and just drown the potatoes. So you can see no potatoes. They're just mounds of brown. Right. We need a head. Oh, this one comes with options, so let's get the heat on and then we'll see what options we have. $39 is nice and easy. Oops. So have literally just a head. This is what they should all be like, but clearly that's too difficult. Yeah, a little bit of a drizzle is fine. I'm sorry, did you just say your gravy was purple? That's not right. If your gravy is purple, you've done something very, very wrong. Oops, shit. Oh, okay. Fine, okay, that makes more sense. I thought you meant it was literally purple. I always find gravy was quite an appropriate colour. It tastes brown to me. You could do a beetroot gravy. Yeah. Or make it with like the water from heritage carrots, because they're purple, aren't they? Maybe that would work, I don't know. Right, options. So this guy, hang on, let's bring the book over, can have a crow familiar or a spear. I'm feeling like food coloring is evil. Unless it's natural food coloring, which is like, extracts from plants and stuff, in which case just use the beetroot or whatever you're extracting it from. Yeah, I'm feeling the crow. Let's go with the crow. I think we've established that caw and tucky don't work. There's 47. There is 47. I could also have a "there's always time for lubrication" button. Marjorie, bite the pillow, I'm going in dry. That does not feel like a stable joint at all. There's just nothing for it to hold on to. It's so tiny. These things are just so fragile, I can't see how they're going to hold up to any kind of punishment. I say punishment like actual use, just day to day. I don't know, it's just the first name that popped into my head. Archibald, bite the pillow. Gunhild. No, do not clip my speech. Denied. No. Oh, fuck's sake. What am I doing? Building, right, yeah, next one. Okay. This one has no options, so that's straightforward. He is running. Number 31. Where's number 31? There's number 31. I always find like jokes like that always work better with old people names. Like, it wouldn't have been as funny if I'd have said, I don't know, Sarah. The classic is always Ethel. Why are you not going to be going into names? Your name's relatively ordinary. You bastard. Archibald, bite the pillow. For fuck's sake. Moist, tasty nostril. Ew. Oh. No, nostrils are not supposed to be tasty. It's not ordinary, but it's not like something that would be easily mocked. You've got a relatively straightforward name. You're in a unique position. You've got an unusual name, but nothing that's kind of obviously humorous. $29 and $30. Let's click this. Click this. Yeah, I imagine as a teacher you find some interesting names. I don't actually know how you save clips. Not sure if it's possible. Why do you dislike your name? Your name's fine. It's ordinary. I know that's like not the greatest compliment in the world, but it's definitely something you want to aim for with a name. I'd much rather have a boring and ordinary name than a hilarious name that everybody can mock. Trust me, the world is full of arseholes. Anywhere you can be normal and boring is a bit of a bonus. Unless you fancy having a constant barrage of stress and insults thrown your way. Okay, so that makes sense. Now what about this bit? This kind of goes in the between part. Yeah, this is another one that's a bit odd. Okay, so that is like that, and then this is a rough of some description. Nada? No. That can't be right. Go behind there maybe. Oh yeah, absolutely. Pen names are what the best part of authorship, really. I don't understand And does that go above or below? Okay. So that's supposed to sit like that, I think. Guess that makes sense. Let's give it a try. How very original. Would you sell you a book at Penn Island? See, there are parts of this when I go, this actually fits really well, like this piece. It just kind of slots into place really nicely, and that's fine. But then there are other bits that are so bizarrely shaped, I can't figure out at all. Well, you saw that earlier. This one went together quite nicely. Quite a nice dynamic pose as well. Jogging along there. Right. How many have we got left? It looks like 1, 2, and then the one that I fucked up. So let's see if we can crack on with these. So it's 33. See, this makes no sense. We have 33, 32, 34, 35, and then 46. Because that's a logical number progression. Okay, anyway, 30, 32, 33, 34. 32. This seems to be another sensible one. I've got separate arms, although this looks like a leg and half a torso, so that might be a bit of a pain, but at least I can figure out what the parts are supposed to be. I've just realised, other than Xander, I haven't actually asked how anyone is, so how is everyone today? Are we all having good weekends? Are we happy, relatively speaking? Looking for dice that you dreamt you had. Wow, that's a hell of a lucid dream. If they die, they die. Yeah, see, again, this is pointlessly got extra bits in it. Why leave that massive gap and then have this weird collar attached to the spear? Why not just have that as part of the body and then have the spear on an arm that you just stick to a shoulder? Why? It make no sense. Yeah, I've experienced that as well. I've had a number of arguments with Emma about things that she's dreamt about that never happened. She's also physically assaulted me in the middle of the night because of something that Dream Me did. Yeah, it's a thing. No, that's gonna need some more work because that's not sticking correctly. So here's a little technical tip. If you're gluing something together and it doesn't want to stick, get something sharp and just rough up the surface, give it some more surface area to cling to, and usually that'll do the job. I'd suggest doing this anyway as a matter of course, because surface area equals stickiness. Yeah, D&D does not equal Forgotten Realms. I've played D&D in space before. Technically, there is one hell with 9 layers, and then there's the abyss, which is a different thing. really odd. I don't understand that one at all. Oh, okay, I see. So it's like a double layered rough thing, I think. Yeah. That's bizarre. But I see how it goes. This is precisely the kind of thing I'm talking about. There's no reason this needed to be one piece. They could have had the ruff separate from the sleeve and it would have been much easier to put together. But they decided to combine it into one. I find myself becoming rapidly bored with standard traditional fantasy settings. Emma, that may be foreshadowing for our game, but I won't say anything further. But yeah, the D&D game that I play on Fridays, the DM he's really good, don't get me wrong, but he is very, very anti anything that isn't Bronze Age technology, or rather Iron Age technology levels. The second you mention black powder, he breaks out in sweats. Maybe. I think this one is supposed to, yeah, just click under there. It's a really weird sensation to have to try and explain over a camera, but these are so, because they're done by a computer, they are literally millimeter perfect, which means you just have to keep fiddling with it until you find the exact right position, because it may even feel like it's in and connected. Like there, I thought I was holding that in the right slot, and then I wriggled it a little bit and it moved even further in. Yeah, that's partly my fault. It's my job as DM to keep the logs and stuff up to date, but I am absolutely awful at it, and Emma's doing a great job of keeping notes for me. So, thanks again. Alright, let's leave that to set. Yeah, I think Terry's top of the list on that one. It's very rare to find me logging in and then Terry not be there. No, I think it was probably the least, yeah. Even like in general, she plays very, very little compared to the rest of us. No, not at all. piece aside. Get this one off. Maybe you should join us. Become one of us. Be one with the blocks. Tis the Minecraft cult. Das ist Minecraft. See, you say that, but I fucking hate Terraria. They're not the same at all. No, Xander, with a K, obviously. Oh, this one needs some cleaning up before it's going to go together. Let's take that bit out. I really should have been less lazy and got my scalpels out in advance, but meh. Not worth it now. This is the last one, I think. Let's make sure this goes together before I put any glue on it. Yes, it does. Nice. Let's not get onto horseshoe theory, that's not a thing. Speaking of fascists, I'm loving the amount of people who are suddenly discovering that, you know, capitalism is a thing and people can shut you down for saying things on their private platforms. Sorry, I don't give a fuck if you are the President of the United States. This is a private internet forum. I'm trying to do less drama, less doom scrolling and such, but that tickled me. Oh, the amount of people that were like, oh my god, it's a free speech thing, First Amendment, blah blah blah, when Trump got kicked off of Twitter. And then the shutdown of Parler and all of that kind of stuff that happened. Because Amazon just went, no, we don't want fascists on our platform. Despite being happy to take money from fascists on their platform for quite some time. weird one. That's supposed to go on like that somehow, but it doesn't seem to fit. Oh, okay. So you need to kind of give it some welly to push it in. This guy has a very fashionable side shave thing going on. It's such a shame that I've got so many gripes about how these things go together, because I really do like the kit. Well, obviously I do, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it, but yeah, it's just frustrating to put together. I'm glad I don't have to do it more. Right, we can give this guy a sword to go with his dagger, or we can give him what I guess is like a poison dart thing. You see that? Yeah. A poison dart thing, or big spiky sword. What do we reckon? Let's get a vote in chat. Oh, we've got a 50-50 split. There's only one way we can solve this. Fight! Oh, we've got 2 for sword. I think we're gonna have to go with the sword, I'm afraid. Yep, everyone said sword. Well, all but one. Sorry, Xander. As usual, you are the odd one out. And that's why we love you. I don't actually know what difference it makes in the rules. In fact, let's have a look. Because I have the rules here. So this is kind of similar to what you were talking about, where you have the separate core rules. So we've got a set of cards here that describe the rules for this particular gang. So that's all the different languages, so it's only one card. Oh, and they have a thing specifically targeted to their darts. So, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so yeah, their darts are actually good for them in game terms. So I'm afraid I might have to go against the crowd and put the dart on him. Ah, that's interesting. They all have individual stat cards. Very interesting. So where's this specific one? I think it's that guy. No, he's got a Nia. Oh, they don't have this one. Ah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the dart, I'm afraid. Plus, the pose just sort of calls for it, because he looks like he's throwing something. If I did that. Yeah, he's got his hand up in the air, he's like, absolutely, that's a throwing position, I think. We do not dab. If I was in Game of Thrones, that would be like my house motto. We do not dab. No, they're too emo to dab. Yeah, tell me that's not the pose of drunk Brian up at the Oki ready to throw a 180. A dab but in upside down. What, in the upside down? As in like Stranger Things kind of upside down? Dabbing in hell. You can Google what a dab is, I am not showing you. Right, let's go back to this hellish bastard and see if I can figure out where I went wrong. I still don't fully understand what this part is even supposed to be. Let's put this aside. I'm not sure I'd call 16 to 20-year-olds cultured people. Maybe cultured in like a biological petri dish sense. I still can't figure how this guy is supposed to go together. Yeah, he doesn't look very excited. He looks disgusted, if anything. Okay, I think I finally solved this, and now I know why it didn't make any bastard sense. So that weird part that I couldn't figure out what it was is one arse cheek, part of an ankle, and also the lower half of a back cape thing. Tell me how that makes any frickin' sense whatsoever. Now it's got a massive gap because I had to force it into place. Yeah, it's a very quick, fluid movement. It's not like you stand like that forever. It is literally like sneezing into your forearm and then doing a Nazi salute at the same time. Okay, so that's some sort of progress. Let's see if I can find his head. Is that it? 24? Yep, that's the right one. Yeah, that gif is... Tell me this, she is not sneezing into her elbow while doing a Nazi salute. That's all I see when I see someone dabbing. We are done. So let's have a look at the full crew. I still need to base them up, but I'm going to do fancy bases for these guys because the whole gang is only like 10 models, if even that. Is it 10? So you've got 6 normal guys, and then you've got 3 special characters. They're all out of shot. Wonderful. Let's see if I can move the camera instead of moving them. There we go, that's more like it. No, there are no willies here. So yeah, I'm going to put some fancy bases on these guys. Still trying to decide exactly what, but I know I'm going to include some water effects, and I might have this guy on some sort of column, because that just sort of lends itself to that position. With him coming down like that, just have a pillar of something coming out from underneath him, like he's just landed on it from a flying words. I don't know how to words. So yeah, like he's just landed on a column, ready to attack someone, and then have like maybe another model stood on the ground beneath him, ready for him to pounce. I think that makes sense. Although I'm not sure yet. But that's going to be probably another stream once I've decided what the plan is. I'm also going to paint these slightly differently, so instead of a standard black primer like I normally do with a white highlight, I'm going to go for maybe a red or a purple under the base, and then blue, like a really bright cyan blue for the highlight, and then we're going to go for a kind of shadow theme, so it's all going to be purples and blues and blacks and that kind of cold end of the spectrum, and then we'll see where that ends up. So that's these guys done. They're still going to need some cleanup, but that's boring, so I'll do that off camera, and there's nothing to talk about. So I'm going to go and raid someone and say goodnight to all of you. So thanks folks, and I will see you again next time. Let's see who's on. We have... There's not many people on today. Let's go and see someone new. So this is an Aussie streamer who I don't often catch online because they're Aussie, I think. Is that an Aussie person? No, I'm confusing them with someone else. I don't know who this is, but they're painting and they're on my subscription list, so we're going to go and raid them. There we go. Bye bye everybody. Bye.
Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for the raid. Welcome. How was your stream? I love your name. Nothing? Could we get a shout out for Puddle of Custard? Mods? Any mods awake? I don't think they are. I have to do it myself. Stream was infuriating. Oh no. Why is that? I'm just checking you out, Puddle. Is this your... Are you very new? Can you paint miniatures? Alright, I'm just checking it all out. I'll do the shout out. Hold on. Pronounce yes. Puddles of custard. I missed it. There we go. I got it. I did it. Building the Corvus cabal from Warcry, and the whole thing became a rant about... Oh! No worries, Puddles. Oh, you don't like the sprues? Why is that? I've got some Corvus cabal. And you know what? Any excuse to go get them. Any excuse whatsoever. Hold on. Which one were you doing? I've only done the big guy and one little one. And he's still probably my favorite model I've painted, this guy. So, yeah. Anytime anyone mentions Corvus Cabal, I'll go grab him. Does that make no sense during assembly? I can't remember. It was quite a while ago when I painted him. Puddles? Alright, Puddles. Well, I'm doing some freehand tiger stripes. What have they done? They make no sense? Oh, like nothing's next to each other and stuff? Is that what you mean? Like none of the parts are next to them? Yeah. That's the case for a lot of them. But then this Space Marine, who I just made not too long ago, their stuff was pretty straightforward on the sprue front, from memory. Oh yeah. Well, that's the same for these Underworlds ones. But I don't mind. I guess that's, So are you referring to the fact... What is it? What is it? Monopose. So monopose ones compared to like the Space Marines, the old ones where you could switch weapons and stuff. Yeah. But I prefer monopose kits. 100%, I think. It is subjective, obviously. It's not saying like either one's bad, but personally I like the monopose ones. Seems like they're able to get much cooler designs and poses and stuff. And as someone that doesn't like, since I don't play and I don't care what weapons they have or whatever their setup is, and I don't convert or anything much, yeah, monopose makes a ton of sense for me. Whereas I know some of you do the conversions and stuff and might make less sense there. Or a lot of people just like having the freedom, right, of building it their own way, maybe. Which, while I don't personally care about, I can understand. Oh, that's looking a bit better now. Now that it's coming together. Kingdom Death? What's Kingdom... How's that like, Hoggle? I'm just going to quickly wash this brush. Oh, yeah. No, it's fine, Puddles. It's just talking. It's not a rant. Oh, we can. Yeah, I'm more than happy to talk about it a bit because I haven't played tabletop, so I don't know how things do hold up. I know like Lady Oleander, which I just sent to Torgrim. I'm suspicious she won't make that trip. She will not be as she was when she left. Right. And she was so annoying to build and make. I think JN's currently built and base coded her. And she's like, yeah, building that was just a nightmare. And then painting it, it's really wobbly and just, yeah. For such a nice looking model, I think it'd be really tough to get super detailed paint on it just because it wobbles so much and it breaks and yeah. $12 pieces for a nude model. Well, I've got one Kingdom Death thing, the Flower Knight. It doesn't look too bad. It's a smaller one. Let's make that a little bit thicker. We kind of had this discussion a while ago. I haven't brought it up much after. I got in trouble from you guys for saying like, which I think I was wrong. I was wrong for saying like conversions and stuff are like, I wouldn't do them because I'm not going to be able to do as good a job as the sculptor. Which is true. I mean, that might not be the intent of whoever's converting things, though. It's just like a creative pursuit, isn't it? And then some people are super good at it and can sculpt themselves as well. Not a fan of the pinup stuff. Yeah, I like the gross ones too. The pinup things. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they don't catch my eye. I usually like big monsters and stuff as well. I thought, weren't you doing... Didn't you have a new team, Sterage? Were you doing Dark Elder or Inari or something? I remember that. You were so excited, then I didn't hear anything about it. Do you remember Sterage? You lost before you got a turn. Is that just infuriating? Were you genuinely angry? I know in Catan, which is not the same, but if I get like blocked in where I can't do anything, I'll just be incredibly angry. I'm gonna fix up this. What is the most rage-inducing game? That doesn't sound fun, where you can lose on the first turn, or before your turn. That sounds not fun at all, I gotta say. 3 to 4 is Harlequins. They're not as bad. I don't know exactly what that means, Sterage, but it doesn't